Good evening, good evening, good evening. How you doing, guys? Okay, this is Pop Brown, and this is Father-Daughter Talk on a Saturday night. How you doing? Listen, as you come in the room, please like and share. Please like and share as you come in the room. Again, this is Pop Brown. It is Saturday night, and it is time for the Father-Daughter Talk. Okay. Listen, last couple of weeks we've been talking. Man, we've had a hot topic going. We really have. We've talked about the happy blended family versus baby mama, baby daddy drama. And then it's been interesting. It's been interesting. And after each segment, we've had some pretty hot comments. Please share as you come in the room, folks. Please share. Listen, after each segment, we've had some hot comments. After the first segment, we had we had the ladies are saying, okay, the guys did a great job. What about the women? What about the other stuff? They brought us some good points, da da da. And then after the second segment, which was last week, when the ladies came on and did a terrific job. They did a terrific job talking about some of the destruction that was left behind as well. And why some of the women react that way. How the one person move on, and forget about all the damage and forget about all the destruction, forget about all the stuff that they left behind. And so in response to that, sometimes a lot of women didn't know how to handle it, especially young women didn't know how to handle it, and so they'll strike out. They'll strike out with anger. They'll strike out, from the hurt. They'll strike out from the hurt, and sometimes the new person in that old person's life, in that ex's life, sometimes they'll get some undue, maybe sometimes they'll get some undue, stuff done to them, assassination, character assassinations, or just stuff that wasn't warranted, stuff they didn't, they had nothing to do with, the previous relationship, but they're catching it for this one time. But even after that segment, we had more conversation. It was like, okay, but we talked about the guys had a chance to talk about the stuff that they needed to talk about. The women had a chance to talk about the stuff they needed to talk about. What about the children? What about, hey, Johnson, how you doing? Please like and share when you come in the room, guys. Please share. Listen, what about the children? Okay, what about the children? Now, we're not talking about children that's experiencing things right now, y'all. We're not talking about that. We're talking about adult children. We're talking about adults who survived it. Adults that's gone through this. And we had an opportunity this week to talk with a couple. To talk. Hey, Cook, how you doing? We had an opportunity to talk with a couple of those adult children who survived. Baby mama, baby daddy drama. And they had a lot to say. They really had a lot to say. Now we're gonna hear some of that tonight. We're gonna hear some of that tonight. But I need to hear from if you yourself, are a survivor. Because we're not using the word victim around here because there are no victims here, okay? But if you yourself are a survivor of baby mama drama or baby daddy drama, and all of that, and even if you have children of your own, let's talk about that. We need to hear from you. We need to hear how you made it. We need to hear how it affected you. We need to hear, that because of the fact that there are some people that's dealing with that right now. That's the people that's going to see this live right now that's dealing with that same situation. And so they need to know that how the stuff that they're doing is affecting their children. You been a survivor of it. You can speak to it. Being a survivor, you can speak to it and you can say, what, this is what happened, as a child for me. This is what I perceived. This is what my perception of the drama that was going on between my mom and dad when I was a child. Now that I'm an adult, how is it affecting me? How am I treating my children or my relationship any different? What did I learn from that? What was the takeaway from that? Talk about the hurt. We want to talk about the hurt. We want to talk about those things because, again, from the conversations that I had with people this week, man, I tell you, there were some things. Me personally, I was not a survivor. So I couldn't. I didn't know. And I couldn't even start to put that into any kind of mold. But the folks that were able to tell me exactly what it was dealing with. Jocelyn, how you doing? Good evening. Listen, you guys come in the room, please share, because this is important. We, again, as you guys know, we've been talking about, and I promise you, this is the last segment on it. We've been talking about happy blended family versus baby mama, baby daddy drama. Well, first week again, we talked to the guys, and they gave us some good stuff. Second week, last week, we talked to the women, and they gave us even more. But tonight, we're going to be talking to surviving children, adults who went through it as children, how it affected them, how they carried it, into their adult life, and how they got over it, if they got over it, and then we're going to talk about a little bit of how we can get over it. How we can get over it, because there are some solutions to that. We don't want to just put this information out there and not tell you or not show you, even talk about how to deal with it, how to get past it, how to get over that. One of the things that I do want to say, that we're having this conversation, we're having these conversations, not to open any old wounds or disturb the pot or, all that good stuff, sling mud. This ain't what it's all about. If we can, refrain from using names, we won't even use names tonight. We just talk about the experience. It's not about the person. It's about the experience. So we don't want to do that. We want to put that out there. Listen, this is not the purpose of this conversation. It's not to, hey Charlie, how you doing? This is not the purpose of this conversation. The purpose of this conversation, again, we're talking to the adult children who survived the baby mama drama. How it affected them as children. And now, how are they dealing with it as adults? Listen, we need to hear from you tonight. If you are a survivor, I need to hear from you tonight. 256, text the words, let's talk, to 256-945-5439. I am waiting on you tonight, because I know you guys got it from me. I'm waiting on you tonight. Okay? I'm waiting for it. Charles, I need to hear you tonight. Charles, I need to hear you tonight. I need to hear from you guys tonight, because I need to know. I don't know if you're a victim. Don't get me wrong. I don't know if you are. But if you are, even if you know somebody who had to deal with the kind of nonsense, let's talk about that tonight. Again, text the words, let's talk, 256-945-5439. And in the meanwhile, I'm gonna try to get our first call on the line. I tell you, one of the things that I can tell you, as we get into this, is that I wasn't, as I said in the offset, I wasn't a victim. But I can tell you right now that I probably was one of those guys who caused a lot of drama. I was definitely one of those guys. And I, listen, I fess up to it. I'm telling you, I told you before, total transparency. Listen, Pop Brown, in the beginning, when I first, when my kids were young and all that, oh man, listen, I was not the father. I was not the dad that I should have been. I was not the partner. I was not the husband that I should have been. I wasn't, because I was still busy being me. I was still busy being selfish me. I was still busy, doing everything that I wanted to do, doing everything that fit me. I was still busy being one of the guys. I was still busy being the guy. I was too busy for all of that. I didn't have time for, and so therefore, I left. I created that atmosphere. I created that drama. I created that because I left. Listen, I left baby mamas. I left my ex. I left them fending, on their own. When I had, when I was very capable of helping financially, physically. I was very capable of doing it, but I left them fending on their own. Even with the means to do it, I still left them doing it. Something I'm not proud of, don't get me wrong, but just being transparent, I left it. So, when the anger was there, when all the frustration was there, rather than deal with it, rather than go back and say, hey, listen, you know what? I know I was wrong in this. I know. And doing the things that I should have done, I didn't do it. I just avoided it. I just kept moving. I kept moving. I kept it moving. So not only did that affect, and hopefully we hear some of that tonight. Again, I told y'all, listen, I Listen, when I wouldn't ask you to do something I'm not ready to do. So if one of mine would call in tonight and say, "Yeah, I was definitely a survivor of," Pop Brown gonna hear it because I know. It's not like they would be lying because they wouldn't be. They'd be telling you the truth. I left destruction. I left that feeling, so I know. I know what it's all about. Lorenda's saying, question, what did you expect from the kids once you decided to be a grown man parent? You know what? Lorenda, I had no expectation. I had no expectation. Here's what I did for myself, and here's what I did for them. I gave them the opportunity to heal. It wasn't about me. It was about them. I gave them the opportunity to heal. So my thing was this. Listen, whatever it is you need to say to me, say it. Whatever it is you need, whether you got to scream at it, whether you got to cuss it out at me, whatever you need you to do, I need you to do whatever it is you need to do to get healed. And the reason that is this. Listen, I learned a long time ago that an absentee father, listen, it's not the absentee father that hurts during this situation. It's the child that he left behind. It's that child that he left behind. That's who's hurting. That's who's hurting, not the absentee father. It's the child that's left behind. So I needed to start that healing process, and the way to start that is listen. You got to take the lumps. There are consequences to our actions. So we have to take our lumps. So I had to do that. I had to open myself up to those lumps. I had to open myself to it. Seeker said I wasn't a kid victim, but I am. Not the word victim. I wasn't a kid survivor, but I am a domestic violence survivor, and we had a kid together. Hey, listen, you know what? And I think that we're talking maybe some of the same language with that, Shaniqua. I think we are. I think we're talking some of the same language because of the fact that, that the child is there. And unfortunately, the child... even though the child is there, the child almost needs to make choices. I love my mom, I love my dad, but, what's going on here? You almost force the child to take a side, which is unfair to them. Totally unfair to them. In my case, however, they didn't get they didn't give it a choice to take a side. It was all mom. It was all mom because Pop Brown wasn't there. It was all mom because Daddy wasn't there. It was all mom because Daddy was out doing it. Now every night, he did this drive by every now and again, to check on things, holler at mama. Can I keep it real, y'all? To holler at mama and keep it moving. I came by and I saw the kids. And don't get me wrong, I've always genuinely loved my kids. I have, but I love what at the time in my life, what I was involved in, what apparently took, not apparently, what I was involved in took priority over the real things in life. I allowed it to take priority over my kids. I allowed it to take priority over relationships. I allowed it to take priority over a lot of different things. So this is why, I know firsthand. So when one of those guys come to me and say, "Well, my dad, you can't run that by me," you know what I mean? Because listen, I'm the one that's I'm the one. If there's anybody out there that can tell you, this is how destruction can, this is how you can cause destruction. I'm that one. I'm the one, and it's only by the grace of God today, Shaniqua, and it's only by the grace of God today that I have those relationships with my kids. I have those relationships, and they're adults now. These are adults. Okay, we don't have nobody under 20 or under 21. You know what I mean? These are adults. And so we're able to communicate in whatever way. And there's different dynamics. We have different dynamics in our communications. My daughters and I communicate differently than my sons and I, but we communicate. We communicate, we communicate, and sometimes we can put it out there. Sometimes it is at a point where hey, I'm upset with you because of this, and that's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna love you anyway. And then I'm gonna keep loving you, and then sooner or later we're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna keep talking. We're not gonna allow. I can't allow. To be upset and be mad. I can't blame them. In other words, I'm gonna blame them. Even though they're adults now. You know what? That hurt is still there. It's still something buried, and I know it is. I'd be silly. I'd be a fool to think that it wasn't. There's still some hurt. There's still some hurt there. There's still some issues there that are unresolved. I'd be a fool to think that wasn't. So I'm still here. I'm still here and willing. And saying that's the key right there. You got to be willing to want to do that, and that's why I did it. Lorenda says, "Do you understand that they have developed an experience and understanding of you which may never be possible?" Absolutely, Listen, there's areas, LaRonda, there's areas, I know for a fact that there's areas that are still, as mom and them used to say, they just waiting for the other shoe to drop. You know what I'm talking about when I say that? There's still areas where there's still, trust issues. There's still areas where, I don't know. Because in the past, listen, I can say out of my mouth whatever it needs to say. Anybody, man, woman, it doesn't matter. We can say whatever, to try to convince you that we're different. We can say it out of our mouths as 1,000 times a day. But the fact is, it's not about what we say, it's about what we do. It's not about our talk. It's about our walk. It's about the way we walk it. Okay, it's about the way to walk it. And so the only way for me to stand, the only way for me to show, my adult children and anyone else, is how I walk it. Okay, Loretta said forgiveness is for the forgiver, and forgiveness is for the forgiver, and how they feel may not be spoken, but will be presented and must be valued. It has to be valued. Listen, at the end of the day, for any one of us to heal, I'm talking about the child survivor, the adult child survivor, the absentee parent. For any one of us to heal, it first begins with forgiveness. It starts right there, and we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that tonight. It's gonna get to that. It starts with forgiveness. It starts right there. Without forgiveness, you're nowhere. Without forgiveness, we just here. We don't. Why carry that though? You know what I mean? Right? That's cancer. So we have to get to that place where we're willing to forgive. We have to get to that place. We have to get there. Hey, let's get that first call on the line. Again, I need to hear, listen. I appreciate y'all talking to me right here, but text let's talk to 256-945-5439. Let me hear your voice. Text the words let's talk to 256-945-5439. Let's get our first call on the line, y'all. Let's try this. Boy, I tell you what, listen, I have no problem, as I said, I have no problem, becoming transparent, y'all. I said this from the very beginning. From the very beginning. Uh-oh. I'm sorry, I think I got the wrong number. I hit the wrong number. Again, y'all, text the words, let's talk, 256-945-5439. Mm-hmm. Rhonda, thank you for your transparency and willingness to provide a forum for honesty. Yeah, listen, that's what we're here for. I made mention on last week. Hello?
Hello?
Give me 1 sec, babe. I made mention on last week that that here on MzBee's Let's Be Real series, it's about transparent. It's about real. We can't come out here. We hear this platform, the platform that she's created by the grace of God, is to come out here and to help someone. If we're not coming out here to help, if someone doesn't get help in this, then we decided wasting our time, and that's not what we want to do. We're not coming out here for self. We're not coming out here, to look good, or we're not coming out here for popularity. It's not about that. We're coming out here because it's about helping someone. It's about helping someone move on from where they are. A lot of us are stuck in that place. That we've been stuck there for years because we don't know. We don't have the tools. Nobody's given us the tools to move on, or the instructions how to help us move on. That's what we want to do here. Not by ourselves, though. We don't do it by ourselves. Okay? We need your help to help us do that. We need your help. That's why I'd say, listen, talk to us tonight. Let's talk. Text the words, let's talk. 256-945-5439. Listen, we got a call online. Hey, Kayla, how you doing? Welcome to Saturday night and father-daughter talk. And as you know, I am Pop Brown. Listen, this young lady on tonight, y'all. This is very special lady to me tonight. She's very special, extremely special. This is Kayla Taylor. Kayla Taylor happens to be, one of my daughter-in-laws, Kayla's got an interesting point, and I was hoping to get joined by her husband, at the same time, but apparently something's come up. But anyway, Kayla, hey, welcome.
Hello. How are you?
Welcome. Kayla, so listen, let me ask you. From the very, very beginning. Now, we're talking about happy blended family versus baby mama drama. Okay. Now, you and I talked earlier this week as well, and so I know that you're a survivor. You're a survivor. You know, and she laughed.
Yeah.
You're a
Yeah.
survivor. You're a survivor. You know. And so let can you talk about can you take us through Kayla? You know, from the beginning of that thing. You know how you dealt with it, and then where you are now with it.
Okay. So growing up, my at first my parents were together, but then they divorced. Um, like I guess my mother didn't take that so well because from what I remember, she was always saying, always make sure you got your own stuff to fall back on. Pretty much saying you can't. Me and my sisters couldn't really trust men, so to always make sure we had our own money to be set up. So if something did happen, we could take care of ourselves and make sure we knew all the skills we could learn. We didn't have to rely on men. And that Slit was like a man dasher. But but like listening to some of the stuff she says, and then like actually, hanging out with guys and having male friends, and then not acting like she was saying, I was like, that might have been your experience, but my friends are different.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like growing up, it was interesting. I didn't really see my dad that often, but from what my mom was saying, she didn't try to bash him, but it wasn't it wasn't all good things. It wasn't always like a reach out to him and figure it out for you. Let him tell you. It was sometimes she'd be like, yeah, go ahead, reach out to him if you want. I'm not gonna force it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was mostly like you can hear some of the stuff, like she would say some of the things, her opinions of him to us.
Wow. Which I know sometimes. I mean, how did you feel hearing that? But when mom spoke, I mean, I don't know if it's positive, or negative. I'm guessing negative. When she said negative things about your dad, how did it make you feel though? As as a child, how did it make you feel?
As a child, it was kind of strange because it was like, well, I kind of don't really know much about him because like I was young when they split. Mm-hmm. And then I only saw him maybe like once or twice after that, and like those memories of that is kind of spotty. So it's like I don't really have a clear, definite picture of him, but I can't make my own judgment off of him because I like I said, I'm still making a relationship with my father. We talk every now and again. But it was like hearing her say stuff about him, I was like, I'm sorry you had to go through that, but I don't know that guy. So.
Right. Well, so you know what, and Katie, you may be the exception. You may be the exception because I think we had this conversation. I think week 1 about about how sometimes moms can be in the ear of the child. Saying negative things about dad, saying this, saying that about dad. And at the same time, what they don't realize is that they're forming these opinions. They're helping to mold and form these opinions. About the child. I mean about the dad. I'm sorry about the dad. Now,
I mean, I kind of think she got to my siblings with that.
Wow.
More so than me, but it's like it didn't sit right with me. Was hearing some of the stuff she was saying. So I couldn't really put much stock in it. I like to make my own opinions.
I get it. But see, the thing is, though, Dad didn't make it any easier, just like I didn't. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know. And listen, knowing my, the moms of my children, I know, at least I could say for Queen Bee, that wasn't her thing. That wasn't her thing. Her thing wasn't to bash. That wasn't her thing. She may have said some things, but not to them. It's one of those things where, mom may have been saying those things, she may have been saying those things, but dad's, his absence kind of solidified some of that though. You know what I'm saying? He didn't help the cause, in other words. He didn't help the cause.
That's true.
Okay, he didn't help the cause. So, all right, so now, you're young, they go through this, divorce, so now as you guys are growing up, mom's bashing. Mom's mad. Mom's saying, hey, don't trust men, da 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 da, and she's trapping and she's planting these little seeds about your own dad. She's planting these seeds. How do you carry, how did you carry this now into your adulthood? I mean, you got a family now, so how did you carry this into your adulthood?
So with my daughter, I tell her, hey, get to know people, like form your own opinion. And if you have any questions or if you need advice or anything, you can always come to me or your dad. Me and her dad aren't together,
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a baby mama, baby daddy type thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got our own little issues,
Mm-hmm.
but we both are on like, we both have an agreement to where it's like neither one of us will talk bad about the other
Okay.
to her or, you know, anything, but if we can't say it to each other's face. So, but like we don't bash her in front of each other, bash each other in front of her.
Okay.
Like, so he has been difficult with it because he has physical custody, but we have joint custody.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, she lives with him, and then, you know, I get the visitation.
Mm-hmm.
Yay! But
Wow.
it's been interesting. Like, I try to make sure I can get her as often as I can, and I reach out to him and be like, "Hey, is there anything she's into or she's doing? So, you know, let me know if I can like participate in that,
Mm-hmm.
or like if she needs anything like extra besides what I already do."
Mm-hmm.
And then I also ask him. Well, sometimes I'll try to like whatchamacallit? What is it? Trying to blank.
Okay.
Like try to like do like family type stuff with him. Like invite him out to do stuff with me, Jonathan, and Kaden.
Okay.
Or
okay.
Yeah.
How's that work out? That work out pretty good?
Sometimes it does.
Okay.
Sometimes not so much.
Okay.
Because the way her father is set up, it's kind of like he doesn't want another male figure raising her. So, like, he doesn't want her to like make it seem like he's being replaced, and I can understand that. But we've all like sat down and had like multiple talks, and it was like, hey, you know, we know you don't like certain things like of this, so we're trying not to do this.
Right.
But on the other hand, you know, he is going to be around, so it's not like he can just ignore her; she can just ignore him.
Yeah, and you know what? And that's a whole subject all in itself right there. You know, that dual parenting. Oof, that's tough.
Yeah, it is tough.
It's tough.
But it's a lot of communication has to go between.
Oh yeah, communication is key. Listen, so basically what I'm hearing you saying, and I think everybody else is hearing you saying, is that even with what was going on, and that was a decision you made, and thing got forward. Even with the things that seeds that were being planted for you, or attempted being planted in you, as you got older into your adult life, you made the conscious decision that regardless of what I'm seeing, I need to judge this. I need to make my own judgment. When it comes to this. Even now with the with you making the attempts to reach out to your dad. I mean, I don't know how those attempts are. If they're being received, or just kind of I don't know. But even now, I mean that speaks a lot. That speaks a lot about you because I hear you saying you're reaching out, but is he reciprocating that? Is he reaching back? Is he reaching out to you?
Yeah, he'll reach out to me too.
Okay. So he's making an attempt. So let me ask you this though. Let's say you hypothetically you guys get together, you have this conversation. You finally face to face. What kind of conversation is that gonna be? Are you ever gonna reach back? Are you ever gonna? Do you think you ever ask the questions from the past?
I probably will. Okay. I just wouldn't like if I ever meet him face to face. First, I want to kind of get a feel for like his character, because you can read people better face to face versus over text messages or phone calls.
Exactly.
Like meeting him, like if I ever do meet him face to face again, I would probably like try to get a feel for his character, and then like based off how I feel, I'll probably ask my questions, or I'll probably only ask one or two, get an answer, and then depending on those answers, either ask more or ask general questions.
Wow. Loretta King, I sure need you to text let's talk to 256-945-5439, because you got some good stuff going on here, and I think folks need to hear it. Sorry, Kayla, I didn't mean to cut you off, but Loretta, I definitely need you to talk. Let's talk 256-945-5439. So Kayla, I appreciate you. You know what I mean, and I appreciate your journey, because it sounds like you've made some smart choices. You've made some hard choices.
Gotcha.
And it sounds like it sounds like you still got a few more to go. Sounds like there's still a few more to go. So this is a work in progress. So so you haven't had an opportunity to establish that relationship yet with your father. So we're gonna pray that things work out from there. And as always, we always here for you. We always here for you. Okay.
I guess.
Okay. Okay. Now Lorenda's acting. Hey, Kayla, thanks a lot, sweetie.
Thank you.
Okay. LaRonda's asking, what is the returning father is an excuse. You know what? They all are. We all were. We all had excuses, LaRonda. We all did. I had more excuses than Popeyes had chicken. Let me tell you, I had more excuses. This came up. This hurt. That, what happened? This happened. And you know what? It was, it was Tuesday. Tuesdays, so, we excuses were like, wow, excuses was excuses. It was just an excuse. The bottom line is, we failed to do what we were supposed to do, and so in other words, so we had to justify that. As men, we have to. I don't. Baby mamas, y'all go through some of this stuff too. But as men, we had. We justify. We lie. We bottom line, we lie. I had to work late. We lie. And most of the time, especially if you ain't seen baby dad in a long, long time. This wasn't my story, but if you ain't seen baby dad in a long, long time, I had to work. Ain't even got a job. Wasn't my story, but ain't even got a job. You know what I'm saying? So it's real. That's what we do. We like, Papa, listen, look you right in your eye. I would look you right in your eye and tell you one of the sweetest lies. Maybe even cry a little bit. Maybe even put a tear by, Wow. You know what? It's a wonder we made it to where we are today. It's a wonder we still alive. Listen, I'd have hurt me. I'm telling you, y'all think this, I'd have hurt me. I'd have did something serious to me. I would have. I would have. Woo! Thank God. Listen, thank God for salvation. Thank God for his favor, his love on my life. Anyway, y'all, hey, listen, go ahead and text Let's Talk 256-945-5439. We want to talk to adult survivors of baby mama. If you were a child, even if you know someone who's a child, you know what I mean? Let's talk about it. All right, here we go. Let's see who our caller is. We have a caller on the line. Let's see who it is.
Hello.
Hi, this is Pop Brown, and welcome to Father-Daughter Talk. Who am I speaking with?
This is Jocelyn.
Hey,
how are you?
Jocelyn. How are you? Jocelyn, what you got for us?
I want to share that when I was born, it was a blended family with my parents.
Okay.
And when I was born, everyone in my house was a teenager except for my older brother. He was 12.
Okay.
So, but what the situation was, it's kind of hard to say, but people's,
hey, listen,
being transparent.
Hey, Jocelyn.
My parents.
Jocelyn, ain't about me and you. We can talk. Let's talk. Ain't about me and you. Let's talk.
Mm-hmm. My parents were still married to their spouses when they met. But my dad had an older daughter who I grew up with. But I had other siblings older than me after her.
Wow. Okay.
So, but I remember my mother telling me, she said to my dad, bring his older daughter, my sister, home. He said, well, what about the other children? She said, what about it? He said, what if they get in an argument? She said, that's what children do. They will fuss, they will fight, they will argue. But my siblings were awesome together.
Wow.
They watched out for each other. They loved each other, and that's what I grew up with when I was born.
Okay.
They took care of me, took me everywhere, my older sisters.
Okay.
So, but the thing was, and I learned as a teenager myself, living with my dad, because my parents eventually broke up, but living with my father, his wife called, and she wasn't nice. So I said to him, well, what's up? She called. He came through the door. I told him what happened. I said, what's her problem? He says, she felt like if I hadn't been born, they would be together.
Oh, ouch.
But, mind you, her and my father split up long years before I was born. So she planted this seed into my older sister. And I don't have a good relationship with my older sister now.
Because of that seed?
Right.
Wow.
And I've even tried, and there was a time that we did get along, but it wasn't real.
Mm-hmm.
So when my father passed away, she really showed her true colors of how she was. So I haven't spoken to her in 12 years.
Oh, wow.
And even when my father was alive, I learned that I had another sibling. So I tried to be friends with her to gain, make a relationship. But the sister I was raised with and me, more like we were the mediators of my father's children.
Mm-hmm.
My father had all girls, 2 sons, but all girls.
Mm.
So, when I tried, she went to the other sister, the second oldest that I thought I had a good relationship with. Mm-hmm. It was, oh, well, she thought that, you were, trying to tell her not to wait to go see Dad until you came back home to visit. And I said, but she's a grown woman. Mm-hmm. Why would I do that? And the thing was, it upset me so. No matter what went on between my parents, I could talk to my dad. He was my best friend.
So let me ask,
what was
your relationship like with your mom?
We were good too, but it was rough because I was a daddy's girl.
Uh-huh.
And when my parents broke up, and when my mother was angry with my dad,
mm-hmm.
she would say mean things to me that would rip my little heart up
about him.
My father.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
And I would just boo-hoo and cry, but mm-hmm. it didn't stop. It didn't matter. But, I told my father what I tried to do. Mm-hmm. Hey, if I'm going at this time, maybe you'd want to wait to, I'm going to come back home to visit Dad, and maybe you want to come at the same time. We'll meet, and we'll have, trying to get this good family reunion thing going. And I told my dad, I said, I tried. He mm-hmm. said, that's all you can do. Don't let it bother you.
True.
I was a daddy's girl, and it's I think, from experience, I can say what hurts the most, that children are angry with each other because of the actions of their parents.
Yeah, and that's true.
And that's not good.
That's true.
Not good.
And that's a subject all in itself, because now we're talking about sibling on sibling, kind of hatred, and that's because the seeds have been planted by by a parent. You may mention that your older sister, you guys were getting along great until the mom planted those seeds, and now
she actually did that. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No.
Did that. She actually did that after I was born, because my father wanted all his children to know each other.
Okay.
And she was angry. You learn a lot of stuff.
Right.
As when you get old enough to know. And she was very angry because my father brought my second oldest sister over to see me.
Mm.
So
she was angry from that point.
Yeah, and she couldn't, take it out on my father, so you had to take it out on the child.
And see, that's what we're talking about right there is what we're talking about. See, that displaced anger. I don't know the reasons why your parents split up. You know what I mean? And that really, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It's the after effect. It's what happened after that. It's how it affected the children involved in that. Obviously it affected you. I don't know what the relationship with your mom is today. But my guess is. I'm sorry,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Unfortunately, my mom passed away, and it'll be 2 years. But we grew to, we had a great relationship.
Good.
It was a lot, it was much better.
Good.
You know, as I got older, and, you know, some things we talked about, some things, you know, we just left alone, and I expressed some things, and, you know, and it was better. And I was, you know, I'm glad, because I know a lot of people aren't fortunate enough to have good relationships or good last words or I love yous with your parents before they pass away.
Right. Hey, listen.
And I'm,
Jocelyn, you know what? I appreciate. I mean, I appreciate your transparency. I appreciate you coming in and letting us know, about how what happened back there. But let me ask you this though, really, real quick, because we got another caller coming in. But let me ask you this: where are you at today with that? How has it affected you today in your adult life?
Well, because I've had older sisters to pass away. You know, I have, you know, a couple left, but I don't have a relationship with them. And some days it's hard, you know, but I've had marriages where they didn't work out, but with my children's father, I learned from the beginning, they're not going to be there, and they're not going to do what they're supposed to do, I will not plant seeds in my children and tear them down or speak against their father. I will allow them to see it for themselves.
Right. You know, Jocelyn, I mean, I want to, really, really quick. And first of all, thank you. Thank you for coming on and sharing with us tonight. Okay, and we really appreciate that, and we appreciate your transparency. But as we move on, I want to say this. I want to say this to you, Jocelyn, that even in the last little bit of what you're sharing with us, we're talking about. Hey, Rich, how you doing? We're talking about you're talking about how it's affected you in your adult life, and I'm hearing about the relationships, the past relationships, the marriages, the failed marriages, and all that. Listen, believe it or not, folks, that's a cycle. That's a cycle. That's a cycle. If you're not very careful, if it's this is you can find yourself caught up in this cycle. You could find yourself caught up in this because you know what? Let me just go here. I need to go in really quick because generational curses are real.
Yeah,
they're very real.
And unfortunately,
very real.
I can say, unfortunately, and I've learned, I married selfish people. My father was selfish in his own way, but my father was there. And he took care of his family. And unfortunately, what I was presented with wasn't the truth until I found out later on.
There you go. And here's the thing. Finding out later on is way too late. It's way too late.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. Yeah. We are talking about the happy blended family versus baby mama drama. I am Pop Brown Johnson. We appreciate you. Thank you very much for sharing. Please.
You're welcome.
Please text Let's Talk to 256-945-5439. MzBee, if you're out there, I need to hear from you. Listen, because I gave my transparency. I told you, what I thought about what Pop Brown. That's just me talking about me. You know what I mean? But I'm not even sure if I gave you the whole. Cause you know what? Because anytime you ask a man about, especially one that's already that we did this stuff, I'm the one that caused all this damage. So if I want to give you the whole, I'll give you the whole. I'm trying to be transparent, but. Sometimes all of it don't come out. Sometimes you got to pull it out. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to pull it out. I'm trying to. There was another caller, y'all. I'm gonna see if I can get him on the line real quick. If not, we just gonna move on because I spoke with this gentleman earlier this week, and man, he has some awesome stuff to say. Hey, it was really, really good. So we're gonna see if we can get him online. I know he said he's going to be really busy and maybe even traveling. So apparently not. We give it one more ring. Apparently not. Okay, so we don't want to bother him. Okay, but again, listen, we're talking happy blended family versus baby mama drama. We are talking to the surviving children, the adult children that survived baby mama drama, that survived. The writer said this is a series because I find it hard to trust and commit to men because my boy brother was absent. Listen, my biological father was absent. Oh, I need you, MzBee. I really need you on this. Listen, Loranda, one of the things that I can tell you is this. It is a very serious subject. And trust is one of the issues. But how. I don't know your situation. I don't know. I really need you to dial in there so we can talk a little bit. I don't know what your situation is, but listen, 256-945-5439. 256-945-5439. Text the words, let's talk. Listen, I don't know your situation, but I do know this. I do know that, you're saying it pretty often, and you're absolutely right. Hurt people hurt people. That's what we do. Hurt people hurt people. Okay, and because it's just we don't know anywhere else to go. We don't know how to respond any other kind of way. Hurt people hurt people. If a person that was hurt knew how to deal with it a different way, they would, but they don't. So we just strike out. Just strike out to hurt you. Listen, you kick my dog, I'm gonna kick your cat. You do this, I'm gonna do this. Okay. Hey y'all, we got a caller coming in. Hello. Welcome to Father-Daughter Talk. This is Pop Brown. Who we got on the line?
Yes, MzBee.
Hey, MzBee, y'all. We got MzBee in the house, y'all. MzBee. Now, you've been tuning in. You've been tuning in. Listen.
Yes, I've been listening. Oh. Yes, I have.
Okay. Well, listen. Now, earlier, just to kind of, being transparent, because that's what we do here. We keep it real. I went out, I talked about me. I talked about some of the things that I did. I talked about, I tried to be transparent about, destruction, the path of destruction I left, and I left one, but not being a survivor, not being a child from, that survived, that kind of drama. I'm limited in the thing. I'm a dad. I can tell you about, from the dad point of view, I can tell you about all the stuff that I didn't do, all the stuff that I should have did, but I wasn't there to feel the whole, the weight of that. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't feel the weight of that, and so again, as I said to our listeners here, earlier, that I offered the platform. I did offer that opportunity. Hey, listen, hit me with your best shot. Give me, throw everything at me. The piano, throw it all at me. Even if I can't take it, I got to take it because I earned it. I earned it. You know what I mean? I earned that. I earned that. And so and I put that out there. But can you speak to that a little bit? I spoke to it, but can you speak to it?
Yeah, no, I absolutely can. I don't know. I'm hearing feedback, but
okay.
Yeah, I definitely can.
How's that?
I can speak. It's better. Okay. Excuse me. I can speak to being a stepchild because I had step parents on both sides. You know what I'm saying? Because you all had split when I was 5, 6. You know what I'm saying? So and lives continued and stuff like that. So I had step parents on both sides. So I got experience on both dealing with a stepfather and a stepmother. I had more time with the stepfather, and that was not at all a pleasant one. Not at all. Okay. Not at all. There were times where, they would have discourse and they would have situations or whatever the case, and yet because I was not, or my brother was not his birth child, I remember him introducing, us as a family one time to some, I think it was colleagues or whatever, where he introduced, myself and my brother, who were not his biologically. He introduced us as her children, and then their two that he had with her as their children. So that we already were isolated. We were already, outcast and when it came down to him.
Right.
There were so many. He was, he's not that much younger. I mean, older than us. Mm-hmm. So, he's older, but he wasn't like that much older.
Right.
And so a lot of the things that he used to do or try to dictate or try to do whatever, or try to rule and reign, in areas he hadn't, I don't want to say earned, but he hadn't earned it. Wow. You know what I'm saying? For the lack of a better term, he hadn't. Right. Because, you're not our father. He came in with this mindset that, now I'm the whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's throwing your weight and stuff like that. And I understand respect, but there's a respect that needs to be had on both ends. You can't just come in doing all of that, rah, 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 and expecting us to be just, bowing down to your lordship. That's not how that works. Right. You have to establish yourself as a new entity that's coming into a dynamic that was already there. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like this dynamic, myself, my mother, and my brother, we were already here. You're the new added piece. Mm-hmm. So what you should do, especially if there's a child and children involved, you make yourself, establish yourself, establish the relationship, establish the joining, you know what I'm saying? Right. And get to know he didn't do that. He didn't do that. Any disagreements or whatever that they would have, he absolutely would take it out. And see, we were children, at least I was, if I was asked, I'm going to give an answer. Mm-hmm. A lot of times, children nowadays, or even over the course of the years, it was worse back in the day where, we weren't supposed to, we weren't allowed to have opinions.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You do as I say, not as I do, or you will have an opinion if I give you one type of, parenting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were not allowed to say how we felt unless we had what we call, and these were rare, but we would have these, it was called the family meetings, where if we talked about anything, we wouldn't get in trouble. Supposedly, we weren't supposed to get in trouble for what we said and how we felt about certain things. It was the whole point was for us to get it out on the table and discuss it as a family.
Okay.
Not to be punished for it, but to actually hear out the concerns of the children. A lot of parents nowadays probably do that a little more because the parents were children in situations before where they weren't allowed to say how they felt. But now they're parenting a different way.
I agree. Parenting has definitely better. I share with your brothers, that. They're much better dads than I was. Not, even excusing all the other stuff, as far as the communication piece and sitting down and all that, they are much better at that, than I was, because what I learned, what I observed, and what I was taught by my dad, who was taught by his dad, who was taught by his dad. And it was do as I say, not as I do. You don't actually, don't stay in the child's place, that type of thing,
Right. And so that's the thing we can see nowadays. We have the concept of, you're raising adults. You're not raising children. They're already children. So whatever you instill right now is what they're going to show when they get older. Mm-hmm. We know that to be a fact because that's been our life. So at each generation is definitely going to be better. They're going to be better because we learn new things. We gravitate towards, we accept more concepts, and we're more flexible in our learning and in our respect and knowledge of one another and knowledge of the children and stuff like that. Of course it's going to be better. It needs to be better.
Oh, absolutely.
Your children should be better than you in all areas of life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some parents can't even handle that nowadays, though. They can't take their child being better than them because it'll cause them to have some type of jealousy or envy and conflict.
Yeah.
So, which is ridiculous to me. I don't understand. Because the goal and desire is for your children to be positioned in a much better place, mentally, spiritually, financially, emotionally than you were. Because a lot of accesses that we have now, you all didn't.
Now, let me ask you a question, and I need to get this question out because it's burning in my spirit right now, so I need to get it out. Now let me just go back a little bit because I I know about we were talking about the step down, so but let's bring this back home. Let's bring this back to Pop Brown. Okay. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you, because again, you were a child, you were one of the children involved here, you know, in that path of destruction. Okay, take me through that. Take me through, you know, your, you know, the Pop Brown era. Take me through that as a child, you know, as a child, and then as an adult, how it affected you.
The fact that you were not there, or
I mean, just all of it, every all of it. Just you know, I mean, I know it take about 6 days to do that, but we only got a few minutes.
So. No, not with me. You know, not with some because you got a lot of children. Okay, so you that may be a little longer with others, but with me, no, it's simple. You know, of course. Me being a daughter, I'm your first daughter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and prior to me, you didn't have experiences with well, you had you know, steps or whatever the case, but or you know what I'm saying. But when it came down to your actual blood daughter, you had experiences with your sons. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I don't believe that I had the chance to be a daddy's girl. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I think I was kind of robbed of that spoiling phase of daddy, you know, and daughter being wrapped around daddy's finger and all of that stuff. I didn't get that experience. When it came to, and plus I hadn't met my older brothers until now. With Shaq, I didn't meet him until I was 15, and with BJ, I didn't meet him until I was 12, and that was at Papa's funeral. And so, me, in my mind, I didn't know I had older siblings. I thought that I was the oldest, so I never had the experience prior to that of being a baby sister. I never had the experience of being covered by older brothers until after the fact. So naturally, I'm missing the spoiling phase from daddy and the being protected and spoiled by your big brother. I miss all of that. Okay. But I did have the protection and the protecting kind of, you know, attribute in me for my younger brother and for my mama. Because again, because of the presence not being there, you know, it makes you as a child go into protective mode.
Yes.
It just does. Because you're the child that's witnessing, you know what I'm saying? You witness your mother, you know, having the hurts and the cries, whether she knew that we knew or not. You witness and you hear some of the conversations. You try not to, but you overhear some of the conversations. You know what I'm saying? Not spoken directly to you as a child, but you overhear them because your mama is not made of steel. She has feelings that she got to get out too. But also because of the lack of the parent and the father in the home or in the life, my mother had to do over and over and over a time work, and there were times where she would leave in the morning, have to leave in the morning when it was still dark outside to catch the bus and the train to work, and we wouldn't see her until it was dark outside again at the end of the day. So Mama had to fill the role of her and, you know, that void or whatever the case financially and stuff like that. So there was a lot of demand put on her as a mother to work double time to provide for, you know, two growing kids. And then, you know, and then fast forward, get remarried to somebody, have two more children, and then be put, you know, and then they split and be put right back in the same situation, having to financially take care of two kids all over again. So the same thing that she just went through, now she's going through again. And as her oldest daughter, I always felt the need of protection and kind of looking out for it. Don't get me wrong, her and I might not have had the same hunky-dory relationship and smooth sailing relationship, and that's because the dynamic that I had in me, I got 100% from her. So I didn't have, so I was a reflection of her. So that strong-mindedness and all of that stuff, I got that. She saw herself in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? There was no balance of daddy and mama. It was all mama.
Let me see if I can picture that. Okay, go ahead. I got it.
Yeah, it was all mama. So the influence that was in me was all mama. Okay, so there was no balance there.
Mm-hmm.
It was, and so that's whenever her and I would bump heads, she getting all of herself. You know what I'm saying? And that was the thing. That was the thing. But see, now we know as adults and stuff. Now we know that we got to be mindful of what we display and show our kids, because the kids are sponges. They're going to sop up every single thing that you show and display to them. So that's the thing. Go ahead.
So as an adult, in the interest of time here, so as an adult, the Pop Brown era, how did you take that into your adulthood?
Well, see, the thing is, I had to eventually, because of the lack of the father, a lot of things that, and again, my mama worked a lot. So a lot of the things that I've experienced as a child, I had to go through on my own.
Okay.
I had to kind of process it on my own. Mm-hmm. I had to almost heal on my own. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I had to deal with the stuff on my own. Okay. Things that fathers would be there to protect their child from. Things that, big brothers would be there to protect their little sisters from. Mm-hmm. I had to do that on my own. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So, and it took longer doing that on my own than it would have had I had those pieces that I was voided of.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? And so going into adulthood, it caused me to make some, not so smart decisions as it pertains to people. Okay. Because what I did not know is subliminally, I was trying to fill voids. I was trying to fill the father void by way of boyfriend. Or I was trying to fill some other void by way of whatever lack that I had. I didn't know that subliminally and emotionally, I'm trying to fill those voids by plugging people in that just might fit somewhere.
Gotcha.
You look like you fit, so let me plug you here.
Gotcha.
And then go through the process. And don't get me wrong, I think a lot of times, and I learned this as a young adult coming up too, for women to stop telling all of your story. Stop telling all of your business. And I understand you if you're in a place where you don't get a chance to share a lot, and somebody show that they're willing to listen or whatever the case, especially if it's a guy or whatever the case for the women, be mindful of what you share, because that person can become short just temporarily. They will morph into that very thing that you just said that you needed long enough to get what they want, and then undo all of that and then just cause havoc and destruction.
Exactly.
So that was the thing that I had to be mindful of. Those were the lessons that I had to learn on my own. Stop showing people where your buttons are, because they won't know how to push them. And that was the thing for me. And I learned as I got older, and it wasn't until within the last maybe 5 to 10 years that I actually mastered that. Because again, there was a lack. And then when we did get reconnected to you, at that point, I'm 16 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, any lessons or whatever, okay, let's play double dutch here. Let me jump in wherever I can.
That was an adjustment all in itself, because it wasn't like, okay, I have to talk to her or approach her, like a 5 or 6 year old anymore. This is an adult for all practical purposes. So our relationship changed, it evolved, without in the blink of an eye. In my opinion, it overnight, she went from this little cute girl, to this young adult woman, and so now, our conversation is different. The way we interact is different, everything. So ain't no more lollipops, and no more freeze pops and all that kind of stuff. Now we in adult stuff. We talking real stuff now. So it was an interesting transition, And what I mentioned before, Bianca, in interest of time, I mentioned before that any one of you guys that we'll talk to, Bianca said, I got a lot of kids. Yeah, it's so. Mm-hmm. But I mentioned that any one of you guys, and don't get me wrong, it's the 9 of them are connected like a puzzle, puzzle. Okay, but any one of them can speak to hurt. Any one of them can speak to an area that may be unresolved. But any one of them know as well that all you do is pick up the phone and let's talk about it.
Right.
Let's talk about it.
And that's what I will say. That's what I will say when it comes down to your returning. Okay. I can say, and this is why I say it, my portion of what I have to say with regards to the results of your absence and all of this stuff, I mean, that's all fine and good. And I think, my thing is this today. As an adult, I now have an understanding of knowing where you were mentally, where you were emotionally, where you were and what you were capable of doing in those times and stuff like that. Who's to say that your being around would have been a positive thing for me in the first place?
You know, I've often had that thought.
Because if now, say for instance, knowing the mindset that you were in back then, knowing that mindset, if you were present, what would I be today? Because you would have raised me out of your then mindset.
Yes. Yeah, I've often had that thought, you know. And then because my priorities back there, as I mentioned before, my priorities was on the things that I was doing, the business I was involved in, and things of that nature, which kept my life in danger. So if it put my life in danger, certainly it would have had my family's life in danger. So I see that. I mean, I see that. Going forward, I can see that. Now, it was a God's plan for I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I do know that everything that I experienced, everything that you've experienced, everything that your siblings experienced, it's all listen, there were lessons that we all learned to bring us to this point. And we ain't talking about just yesterday, y'all. It's been a minute. So to bring us to this point, but when we come together, we all got so much, that we could bring to the table. It's so much. It's so much, there's
no sense in, for me, this is, again, my personal thing. For me, there's no sense in beating a dead horse. When you did come back, you've been back. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm not 16 anymore. I'm so far from 16. You know what I'm saying? So clearly, there's been more years with you than there have been without you. And so for me, it makes no sense to me to continue to live out of the hurt and pain from the ages of 5 to 16. That's ridiculous, because I'm not 16. I'm no longer 5. So what was, yes, we can talk about what was, but from a whole nother place, we can speak about what was and still be good.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
We can speak about what was and not have to have a knockout, drag out, situation going on.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm not dwelling on what was. If I dwelled on what was, I would not be able to move forward into my tomorrow, focusing on my yesterday. That makes no sense. And then on top of that, what someone else's indiscretions are, I will never allow to prevent me from forward movement. That's your issue. If you have things that you have unresolved from things that you've done as a father or didn't do as a father, then that's on you to figure those out and resolve those things. That those were not my indiscretions, so I'm not going to continue to carry those indiscretions around as if I did them. That's a bondage and a prison that I done put myself in and locked the door.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, MzBee, as always, I love you, babe. I love you, and I love to hear you. I love your opinions. I do, because they're candid and they're honest and they're transparent, and I love it. Listen, we're going to take, and thank you for calling in. We're going to take one more call, y'all. We got one more caller that we're going to talk to, and we're just going to dial in right now. Hopefully she's still available. We're going to dial in right now. We're going to talk to this young lady who's had a lot to say tonight. Man, she's had a lot to say.
Hello?
Hey, this is Pop Brown. Welcome to Father-Daughter Talk. Who am I speaking with?
This is LaRonda.
LaRonda, how you doing? Where you calling from, LaRonda?
I live in Atlanta, the Atlanta area.
Hey, deal. All right. So LaRonda, you've been out here tonight. You've been out here. You've been out here tonight. Listen, let me ask you this: are you yourself a survivor of baby mama and baby daddy drama?
And it's funny that you call it that, because when I hear that term, it makes me think of arguments and trauma, like a bad house situation, or but I'd rather think of it as like a neglect.
Okay.
Like a parental neglect.
Okay.
Because so when you say baby mama drama, it seems as if it gives the connotation that this person wanted to be there but was not. And that's not my case.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
So that's the difference.
Okay, and listen, I can receive that. Trust me, I can. You know, and the terms, baby mama, baby, my baby daddy, and all this. You know, that's just how we getting there. You know what I mean? That's how we gonna get there. That's how we gonna get there.
Yeah, it's just the term, you know,
right.
But it just speaks to me from a different place. Like, my Aunt Jocelyn invited me to the call tonight.
Good.
And she's actually the sibling of my father.
Oh,
who,
okay.
Was an absentee father.
Mm-hmm.
My sister is also on the line.
Mm-hmm.
She invited all of us. We have like a family group chat.
Okay.
And so Jocelyn sent out a notice for all of us to join. So we can all share and share our experiences and, you know, how we feel about these things.
Okay.
So that's what I'm doing now, is just trying to get back to the link so I can see you while I'm talking.
Okay.
But, okay. Yes. Okay.
One of the things you said, you know, you said it was a blessing to finally give a father who is ready and willing to be a man who can add to that
while
life.
I'm talking.
Huh? Still with me?
Yes,
okay.
I'm here.
Okay.
I gotta hang up. It seems like there's a feedback now because I try to watch the video at the same time.
Oh yeah, you got to get a feedback like that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to hang up or come off of the other one. Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, you still here? Okay, yeah. So now, you asked me to call in because I guess you wanted to have a conversation.
Absolutely.
You have some questions?
Well, I do. You know, again, that was one of my first questions. You know, you said, you know, that you kind of it speaks to you from a different place. You know, and your comments have been great. I mean, because you've been spot on. You've been spot on to what to what we wanted to talk about. So I don't know if everybody's reading Loranda's comments out there, but you need to be. You need to be. If you're not, you need to be. You know, because she's spot on.
I'm a deep thinker. Actually, I'm rather close in age. I think my Auntie Jocelyn is probably 4 or 5 years older than me.
Okay.
So we're very close in age. So she was growing up as a little girl in a household where, you know, my father was out and about spreading his love to anyone who would have of it.
Okay. Okay.
So, you know, he was that friendly type.
Okay. That's a great way of putting it.
Much like yourself. You know, y'all are some friendly folks.
Listen, I was very friendly. Let me tell you. And I ain't bragging. Hey, yeah, Loranda, come on, let's get to the point now. Let's get to the point.
You know, I'm all for friendly. Friendly is a wonderful thing. The only problem is when you leave young ladies in the wind while you carry on to the next young lady with your friendship, you know, it's a bad thing.
It's a very bad thing. It's a very bad thing.
So my situation with my father was, he was in and out of my life till I was about 9. Mm-hmm. And then from 9, he came to my house one time. He and my mom were together, but he came to my house one time. He saw that she was pregnant and she was with another man. And she had been. She was with another man from I was probably about 2. But probably about 7, we all moved in together. Okay. And he came to visit and she was pregnant. And he could see clearly she had moved on with her life. Mm-hmm. And that day was the last day I would see or hear from him.
Wow.
So men who would pick me up and who would, you know, once in a while take me out. I can count on one hand how many activities and events we had been to. But because there were so few, I know what they are. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like I went to the beach one time with he and his friend. He taught me one thing. He taught me I have like a lot of hair. So he taught me how to clean a hairbrush in the sink. And you might think that's like a insignificant experience, but if it's one of the only ones,
that's it. That's a memory. I mean, yeah,
that's it.
That's a memory. That's a memory.
I know now how to clean out a brush in a sink because my father took the time to stand next to me and do that. We went to the beach. He put me on a t-shirt. He didn't have a bathing suit for me. He pulled it inside out to make like a bra top. I had that experience with him as well. I don't even know if he remembers these things. But I didn't see him again until I was 32. And that's because I looked for him at that time. Mm-hmm. I had my last son. I have 3 sons. Mm-hmm. I had my last son, and my mom was like, you know, he looks a lot like your dad. You should try to look him up. You should see if you can find him. As soon as she said it, within 30 minutes, I got him on the phone.
Oh, wow.
I looked him up. He was the one and only, Mr. So-and-so.
Yes,
I looked him up on internet. I called him and spoke to him that day.
Okay.
And so, you would think, oh, surely our relationship would be smooth sailing from there. I can't say it has. What I know about this situation is, as a child, you have an expectation from a parent. You have an expectation of safety. You have an expectation of provision. You have an expectation of support emotionally, financially, none of which he has ever done. So now as an adult woman with my own sons, who I'm a single parent as well, and my sons each have their own father. It's a small thing to sit and say, I talk about the parent or the parent talk about me. My major concern was making sure that my 3 young children were going to be men, were going to know who God was going to be safe and sound.
Amen.
They're college graduates. The youngest one is in high school still. He's going on to, his future when he finishes.
Yes.
My thing, when you say about the curse hits me because I have my 2 oldest sons have full custody of their daughters. And so their daughters and their mother, they each have a daughter, and they were not in relationships that were going to be coupled, married.
Right.
They never seen me married. I've never accepted marriage proposals that were given to me because the men that proposed to me were not marriage material, not for me. So I have always been very cautious about who I align myself with and who I say is in my life. I mean, permanently. I see marriage as a permanent situation.
It is.
Not to be undone, right?
It is, absolutely.
So when I look at my sons, I'm thinking, did I set an example for them to make them believe that marriage wasn't a good thing? Like, my parents were married, but they separated, which is how come I had a child as a teenager in the first place. My stepfather, my mom, they separated, and then I started to, date. And so that's how I got a baby as a teenager, and I'm not resentful or regretful of any of my children.
No, absolutely not.
I thank God for them. I'm glad that they're here. I'm not even resentful or angry. And I had been with their fathers, more so their the last gentleman that I had a child with, because at that time I was already 30s. I was 32, and I was in a place where I wanted, I'm a praying woman. I prayed and I asked God if I should marry him early on, and God told me no. And God doesn't change his mind.
No.
God already knows what's going on and what's best. But I, didn't marry him, but I remained friends with him. And years later, we became a physical thing, and I got pregnant. And so this man says to me, now we got to get married, because I know you don't want to have another child, without a husband. And I was like,
ooh, ouch.
Ooh, you a devil. You was plotting on me. But, God always knows what we don't know. He always sees what we don't see.
His thoughts are definitely higher than ours. Absolutely.
Do I blame my father? They say hindsight is 20/20, right? Do I blame my father for all these choices that I've made with the men in my life? No. Am I scarred by? I think that it has shaped me and made me very cautious. I've had a whole lot of negative experiences.
Okay.
From different guys. I do know that I choose people that are not in my caliber.
Okay.
And that concerns me, because that's why I'm not married. I think if I was brave enough to pursue my highest height, to go after, if my confidence was there, if I had been, and I'm still grateful for the father that I had, because he, had it not been for him, I would think men were one of some of the worst things on the planet.
Wow. I'm glad you had that example. I'm glad you had the example of a man.
To God.
I'm glad he was there for you.
He showed me he was a better parent of the two. Between my mother and he was the better parent. And I say it that way because he saw parenting as a privilege, not as a promise.
There you go.
He wanted us. My mom had myself and my sister, and he wanted us, and he spent time with us, and he took us places and bought us things, and he gave us experiences of life that were fun and fulfilling and protective. And that's what men do. Exactly. He was a protector and a provider. And I lived in a household with that kind of example. So I know that men have value to add. Mm-hmm. You know, absolutely, my mom, she had a different experience with him. She felt like, oh, he was a cheater. Oh, he was this. Oh, blah, blah. But that was her experience. You know, I don't agree because I never saw that. But that wasn't my husband. That was my father. You understand? So even now, he has passed away, and it like to destroyed me. I moved from New York here to Georgia because of it, mainly. Wow. You know, I couldn't stay in the city anymore where we were so close, and my house was fairly close to his house, and I would have to drive past it, so I couldn't be there anymore. Mm-hmm. I needed to go.
LaRonda, so, let me ask you this, okay? You know, I mean, I see that the emotional caller, everybody as we talk to tonight, you know, they've forgiven their parents, you know, and are going on in life. Let me ask you this though. Are there and I know for a fact that there's some viewers out there that have not or could be still holding on. You know what I mean? Even in their adulthood, you know, still holding on. That. You know,
one thing about LaRonda, I'm very honest. Okay. I don't fake I don't pretend. Okay. I'm not that person. Good. You know, I don't have to shove it down your throat if I don't like you. But I'm not going to fake oh, everything is great and everything is wonderful. True. I do say that my expectations have never been met by him as a father. Okay. You know, we are on speaking terms. I speak to him frequently, at least once a week. We have like a family group chat. We've had a family meeting this past 4th of July, and I would like to continue to do so. There you go. But there's a growth process. I can't pretend that none of this never happened. And wow, look, my dad. Oh no, you can't. Listen, you can't take it and you know and abracadabra, poof, it's gone. It don't work that way. You know, it is a process. It is a process. You know, and it begins. I expect a man to own up to his error and mistakes. I expect a man. I remember when I first found him. You know, I went to his house. We actually drove. I had bought a new truck, well, not new, but new to me. And he drove us to. I bought it in Miami, and where he was living. He drove us to Augusta to his mom's house. And when we got there, I had a conversation with her. Like, how do you allow your child, your son, to walk off from his children that you're aware of? Because I used to come here and visit with you. You knew about me. You know, I don't know about all the other kids and blah, blah, blah. I can't speak to that, but I can speak about me. Me, you knew. How do you let your son sit around you and you don't never ask for, where's your grandchild? Where's your kid? Ooh, wow. How you come here and you ain't got your kid? There's no day going to come with these boys in this house, and I've told them from little, when you have children, they have you. You don't never have to have no kids. But when you have them, they have you. You're going to be daddy of the year. You're not going to be able to walk away from your child. They will not have to call their mother. They don't need their mother's contact and information. And as God should have it, that's the way it is. Well, I mean, they have their daughters live right here in the house with me. We don't all need to live together. We just here under the circumstance right now. But that's their lifestyle. They understand clearly. I'm gonna be responsible for my kid.
Let me ask you this, though. And you're absolutely right. You know, moving forward with anybody, you know, it starts with an apology. You know, first of all, dad's got to whoever that hurt, the person that did the hurting, they need to come back and say, you know what, I'm sorry. I apologize. You know, it starts there. You know, forgiveness starts with with that apology. It starts right there. But you got to be big enough to do it. You got to be big enough to do it with sincerity.
And maybe he has done that. But see, it's one thing for me to push you down the steps and then I walk down the bottom and say, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have pushed you. And then it's another thing for, you to act like it never happened. So I'm like, okay, you might be sorry you pushed me, but I'm not going to stand at the top again. Not with you.
Oh, no. Listen, how Mama used to say, is one bitten. So it's like I was saying earlier. That there's a part of even my kids. And we, like I said, we have a relationship, but there's a part of them that's still waiting for the other shoe to drop. There's still that area there's still that undeveloped, that untouched, that unresolved area. That's way back here. That at some point, it needs to be addressed, or maybe not. I don't know. It's on them.
So I'm going to get to the underlying issue. We still have an issue, my father and I, and the underlying issue that he wants us to completely clean a slate and be daddy, daughter, and and move in that way. Okay. So for a father, right? If you're a father, you buy food for your kids, you buy clothes for your kids, you buy presents for your kids. You provide.
That's what God it's something that's built in us. Yeah.
Right? That's fathering. So if none of those things happen, now as an adult daughter, do I do that for you? Do I buy things for you? Do I take you places? Do I give you things? Do I love on you with a love that I never received? How now could that be? You got me? Here we go. This is the grown-up talk. How do I give you what I didn't get from you? I don't have it yet. I'm still trying to develop it. I think you got to pour in where you want to get poured out from.
Well, you know what? And now I'm going to have to speak to you from a minister point of view. You know, here's the thing. That's tough. But you know what? Let me tell you what's even tougher. What's even tougher is to do it. What's even tougher, you know, what makes you listen, I need a pair of shoes and, you know, I ain't got the money. You got the money. You know what? Let me tell you what. See, I end this broadcast, I end this program every and we're gonna be doing that pretty soon here. But I end this segment, you know, every Saturday night with saying these words. You know, I love you with the love of Christ. Okay, which means that, you know, if I'm in your situation, you know, and don't get me wrong, I'm not judging right now. Don't please understand, I'm not judging. I can hear you. But if I'm in your situation and I'm truly, you know what I mean, and I've got that love within me, you know, and I've got that within me, you know, when it came down to, I'm not gonna say everything, but it came down to certain things. You know what? I may not do it all the time, but whenever the Spirit of God moves on me to do something, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. You know, not spitefully. I'm gonna do it not grudgingly. I'm gonna do it as done unto the Lord.
Yes.
As unto the Lord.
I received that. My issue is that he doesn't see it that way.
It's not about what he sees. It's not about him. But at that point, it's not about him.
Right, but let me say how I feel about this, because 4th of July, my sister and I had a big, huge back and forth about this one, because, you know, I rented a house for us. I drove us out there. You know, I bought the barbecue stuff. I gathered us up. We took family photos, all of this at my expense, because I want that. I want us to be connected as a family. Okay. Right. However, when it comes to like, well, I don't got something to wear, you going to take me to get something to wear. Now I'm feeling offended because I am not obligated to take you anywhere. I'm not obligated to, you've never even given me a present, and I'm about to be 50.
So he's telling you what you're going to do.
Right. And so that's his personality adaptment that has to be made. You understand? I don't mind spending, sharing. God has provided for me well in abundance. Yes, he has. And so I don't mind being for you, you know, a support system. But don't expect me and make me feel as if this is my job because I'm your daughter.
So now it is that, see, now having that type of attitude.
How do you reap from the daughter bank when you did not apply anything into the daughter pool?
Well, he doesn't have to, you know, even if he didn't supply financially, you know, emotionally, but to sit and have this expectation of entitlement. The sense of entitlement because you're my daughter. That's like me saying to my daughter. That's like me saying to MzBee, listen, because you're my daughter, you supposed to, you know.
Blah blah blah.
No. See, right. First of all, it don't work that way, and unfortunately, a lot of men don't see it that way. But you know, for you, I would say when it came down to those situations like that, you know, here's the way you weigh that. You know what I mean? You just, you know, just ask yourself, you know, just pray about it. First of all, just pray about it. You know, and if God moves in if the Holy Spirit moves in your heart, if God moves in your heart to do this for him, do it for him. Regardless of what he's saying, because it's not at that point, it's not about you and him. It's between you and God. It's not horizontal. It's vertical at this point.
I believe that he has never been taught how to manage people other than that way.
Well, you know what? And it may have been.
And so now I have an opportunity to help him with that.
There you go.
Just as, you know, I needed to grow and I still need to grow. I'm going to help him to grow. When he demonstrates those kind of weaknesses, that's when I show up and say, hey, I don't have to buy nothing.
And that's perfectly okay.
Nothing for you.
That's
because
perfectly fine.
I don't mind doing it, but for you to say it in a way that demands me to do it, or even have an expectation, that's inappropriate.
That's perfectly
Don't
fine.
expect anything that you receive from me is as I receive from you. Just the love of God. That's all it is.
There you go.
It's
LaRonda,
just the love of God. It's no obligation.
I knew you had something for us. I knew you had something for us. Listen, thank you. Thank you. Johnson, thank you, first of all, for bringing family in, okay? Thank you for that.
Yes.
Hey, LaRonda, thank you for sharing. Thank you for joining Pop Brown here on Father-Daughter Talk on this Saturday night. We appreciate you. We do. We appreciate you. We appreciate your comments. Yeah, we appreciate all of that. Thank you very, very, very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Okay, y'all. So listen, y'all. We're gonna move on. You know, and because I gotta make a couple of announcements before I close this out. First of all, on next Saturday night, we will not be here. Oh, I know. We will not be here. Okay. Right now, I'm talking to you guys from the Chicagoland area, but come next week, you know, we will not be here. And the next time that I speak with you guys, it'll be from a different area. That's all. I'm going to leave it at that. It'll be from a different area. Okay. Not that I don't love Chicagoland, but it'll be from a different area. Okay, listen. As always, I love you guys with the love of Christ. I do. Thank you for your participation tonight. I know we ran a lot over. Okay. But thank you for your participation tonight. It's been great. Listen. All 3 nights, it's been great. This has been a hot button. It's been a hot topic. Hopefully, you know, somebody somewhere is finding out that they're not alone. Hopefully somebody somewhere can receive, you know, just healing, maybe a tool, you know, to help them move from the place that they're in, you know, to maybe we can jumpstart them from where they are to where they need to go. Maybe these conversations are helpful. I want to thank everybody that's over the last 3 weeks. You know, my sister-in-law, my sons, my daughters. You know, you called in, Jocelyn. You know, Veronica, Charlie. You know, I want to thank all you guys for, you know, MzBee. Thank you guys for, you know, for sharing on this very, very, very important topic. You know, but before I go, I got to tell you, you know, I need, you know, as a minister of God, I just need to feel the need to pray over. Listen, you know, just pray about these situations. Pray about fathers. Pray for, you know, and I feel the need to pray for those, you know, for the adult children who suffer through that they don't, you know, really turn around and do the same thing because of a learned behavior. Because these aren't given. We weren't created like this, y'all. These are learned behaviors. Okay, these are learned. So anything you learn, we can unlearn, we can undo. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't given to us perfect, you know, if it wasn't given to us by God, we can undo all this. We can do it all, okay? So, Father, we thank you right now for these callers. We thank you right now for everyone that's going to view this, everyone that's viewing, Father, everyone that can hear under the sound of my voice, whether they're viewing it now or we view it later. Father, we thank you right now for their lives. We thank you right now. Father, we thank you right now, Father, that all the hurt and all the pain, Father, that they suffer through, Lord, it is gone. You know, and I want you, and here's what we need to do. To know that it's gone, we need to understand that Christ went to the cross. Christ died for all that, for all of our pain, for all of our hurt, for all of our sins. He died for all of that. And so I thank you right now, Father, that you allowed that to happen. I thank you for the sacrifice you made with your own son, that he may take this hurt, he may take this guilt, he may take this shame, he may take all of this to the grave with him, which he did. And so we thank you for the gift of forgiveness that you've given us, so we can forgive those that hurt us, that we can forgive those who despitefully use us. We can forgive those who walked away from us. We can forgive those who left us in the path of destruction. We can forgive those who were supposed to take care of us, who were supposed to protect us, who abandoned us. Father, we thank you for giving us the gift of forgiveness. We thank you for putting forgiveness within us for that. We thank you for that. Lord, right now, we speak to the families, Father, that are going through. We speak to the children that may be suffering through. And, Father, we ask you to protect them. Put a protective hedge around the Lord hearts, Father, and their souls. Father, we thank you right now that you're healing right now. We thank you that you're healing the soul, the hole that's in someone's soul right now who's hearing this, who that was brought along, Father, by these circumstances, by these situations. Lord, we thank you right now. We thank you, Father, that you are a healer and that you're healing souls, and you're healing minds and healing hearts. And we thank you that you're bringing families back together. You're bringing the family unit back together. Father, you're healing. You're bringing the absentee dad back into the life. You're bringing the absentee mom back. Father, you're bringing the family unit back. Father, regardless of what the relationship is right now, Lord, I believe, and because you've shown it in me. You've demonstrated it by me. You've demonstrated it even in my own family. I believe, Father, that you can do it. I know you can do it. I believe it, and I have faith that you're going to be able to do it for them because you did it for me. So, Father, we thank you for it right now. And I thank that anybody, Father, I bless that anybody who don't know you get to know you right now just by receiving and asking you, Father, come into my life and help me through this situation. Father, we thank you for it right now. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you in Jesus' name. Folks, listen, I love you. I do. I love you. I love you. I love you. And we're going to say amen to that and good night. Listen, it's been great. It's been great. It's been a great 3 weeks. It's been a hot topic. It's been a lovely conversation. I've learned. I don't know about you, but Pop Brown has learned some stuff, over these past 3 weeks. Okay? Listen, again, I love you with the love of Christ, and we are out, y'all. Thank you very much. Good night.